Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Can't Find Direction in Life. So this one, interestingly, I thought of Sadhguru a little bit on this one, where Sadhguru would probably say, I would assume, you don't need a direction in life, just live life. And this is kind of how to say, kind of the attitude of Advaita Vedanta a little bit. Because if you're so worried about things, you're still attached. But at the same time, I like to think about it this way, where if you understand the world is full of attachments and fake or whatever it is, play it. Fall for it. In the sense that you're playing with the world, you're playing with the game, you're playing the game, and but you understand that this game is not you. So, but obviously, even while you're attaching yourself to things, don't attach yourself to bad things. Only good. So, meaning enjoy the game. I guess a great way to um, get way to explain that. But if something bad happens, then you just think it's just, to a sense, it's just a game. Obviously, don't do bad things, don't be harmful or anything like that. But if you fail in something in life or you didn't get what you want in life, understand it's just a game. Even people who play actual video games get frustrated, and that's not the point of the game. The point of the game is to have fun and enjoy it, and provide challenges and enjoy the challenges, enjoy the struggle in a lot of sense. But it's still to enjoy it, not to be frustrated with it. Hmm. Now that I think about it, that's essentially how I really do play games. I play video games, and I just enjoy it. I do get frustrated sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I take a break from it, and then most of the time, though, 99% of the time, I enjoy playing video games. And there's gonna be some frustrating times, but most of the time, I'm just enjoying it. So there's no direction you really need in life if you want to look at it that way in terms of Advaita Vedanta, I believe. But at the same time, you can have direction in life. Dharma is in Advaita Vedanta, which is your duty, your job. I believe, again, I understand it in terms of that, like you have, in a sense, a duty in life. Just play the role that you have and play it well. So, so my two things would be you don't really need directions in life, just go with the flow. Try your best though, or do find a direction in life that which you wish that you want to have. But again, the attachment part is the main thing that applies to both. Don't get attached to things. So let's hear what Dandapani here has to say.
If you're confused about what you want to do in life, if you're not clear what the next step in your life is, gaining more experiences in life doesn't necessarily mean you will have more clarity on what you should do next. Now, I often hear parents say to their children, take a gap year, go travel, see the world, gain, try and get as much experiences as you can out there so you'll have a better idea of what it is you want to do in life. Personally, I think that's very bad advice because as a Hindu, just as a side note, I believe in reincarnation. I could reincarnate on this planet 1,000 times and still not have every experience this planet has to offer. So if I take a gap here and I traveled around the world and had a whole range of experiences, that's not going to help me gain clarity.
Interesting. So this must be European because gap year. I've never heard that expression in the U.S. It could be in the U.S., but at least not where around the region that I'm at. Essentially, it's just to go vacation to see what you want to do. I really don't think that works either, honestly. I mean, it could work for some people, but I think majority of the time it's not because you may be realizing that I prefer to be doing the gap years as opposed to be working. Enjoying life, which is what you should be doing, but be mindful of it. So, I mean, to say that again, this is in terms of duality, not Advaita Vedanta, but just in sense of a purpose in life, like I guess kind of like Kanye would say and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's you my advice, if you want a purpose in life, you have to create your own. No matter how you discover the purpose in your life is, you created that purpose. Nothing else creates that purpose for you other than you. So if you're like, oh man, I went on this trip and I found my purpose in life, yeah, you created it, you found what you like, but it's still you that created it. Nothing outside can tell you what your purpose is. Someone can tell you what to do, but it's not necessarily meaning that it is your purpose unless you make it your purpose.
What does it do? It actually, more than anything else, confuses the mind. Why does it confuse the mind? Because when we go out to have experiences, we're not given proper guidelines on how to choose what experiences we have, and then how to reflect on that experience and form conclusions. The conclusion part of the experience is critical in organizing the subconscious so we have clarity in what it is we want. Most people go out and they have an experience, and after the experience, they don't really sit down and reflect. Did I enjoy that? Was that something important to me? Is that something I'd like to pursue more of? Do I want to do it again? Do I not want to do it again? They don't.
Well, I mean, it's also the experience like I went out partying. Do I want to do that as my life work? Partying, it's kind of. And he was right about the guidance part. It's the fact that you send them overseas, but what exactly are you sending them over for? To go party? That's not exactly finding a life experience. To now, if you go like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know about this gap stuff. It's definitely a European thing. I'm sure. I don't doubt that Americans do it too, but I think it's mostly a European thing, probably. But nonetheless, it's like, um, you know, it depends on the purpose you're going. If you're going out to look for your purpose in life, you might not run into it. I don't know. It's really hard to say seeking purpose outside. It can happen for sure in terms of the duality, the um, was it the purpose in life itself here as opposed to Advaita Vedanta's purpose in life, I guess you could say. Sorry, I'm trying to find a way to speak this duality, this Advaita's, in my opinion of what I think Advaita would say versus, say, the materialistic world, the Maya world, the duality world.
So they just have an experience, then go out and have another experience, and go out and have another
Hmm.
experience, and they go out and have another experience. And what are they doing? They're accumulating experiences in the subconscious mind. Now, your subconscious is like a hard drive, like a memory bank, a storehouse, a warehouse of experiences, memories, habit patterns, and a whole bunch of different things. So imagine this. Imagine I want to create a library in my home, a room that is a library. Every day, I put 20 books in my library. When I put those 20 books in my library, I don't index them, I don't categorize them. I just put 20 books in the library. After a year, I probably have 700 plus books, plus or minus. Will I be able to find any book? Oh, I won't be able to find any book. There'll be lots of books in my library. But if I'm looking for a gardening book, I'd have to sift through 700 plus books to try and find it.
I thought the example he would use here would be like, imagine I set out my goal to read as many books as possible. I go grab a book, I read the first 20 pages, maybe a quarter of the book, then I put it up. Then I grab another book and read the first quarter to a half of the book, then I put it up. Then I read the next quarter and a half. These are the half experiences that you're having in life because you're not fully experiencing what it is in terms of whatever you're doing. So if you go to like go to a nursing home to kind of see, do I want to become like a nurse aide or take care of elderly people, you go in there, you just kind of one night over there to see what it's like, and then you leave. And then you go to say some other place and you take one night over there and then you leave. You're just getting this half experiences. But also kind of like how he was explaining earlier about the gap year, about how they're going out. I mean, what did they do in the gap year? I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it's just like looking at life, I guess. And all these experiences that they have are like half read books because they only have so much time in this gap year to experience things. They never get really to fully to experience things. So you have all these books of half-read books that you never truly experienced the book because you only read maybe halfway, maybe seven, three-quarters of the way. And that's the thing about experiences is that, it's kind of like a book. To fully experience something, you need to read the whole book. To fully experience something in life, you need to fully experience it. You need to go in there. You can't just half read the book. Some people can do that. I'm not saying there's not, but it's just, I think there's a lot of people out there who do half experiences and think that's what they want, then all of a sudden they realize it's not. There are people out there who do half experience, but because they didn't go past the half experience, that they don't realize that's actually what they want to do. It's tough. Life ain't easy. It can be, but it normally ain't.
There's no way I could find it. Why? Because I didn't categorize them, index them, and organize them. The subconscious is no different. Every time you go out and you just accumulate more and more and more experiences, like you would accumulate more and more information, you just clutter the subconscious mind. Now, when you go into your subconscious to try and decide what it is you want to do, how would you be able to retrieve it? How can the subconscious even help you when it's not even organized? All that information is just thrown into the subconscious in an unorganized, uncategorized, unindexed way, and it creates confusion. That's why there are more people confused today than I feel, personally, than ever before. Why? Because all we do now is consume information. From the time we're kids, we have phones, kids have phones, television, and all we do is scroll and consume information, scroll and consume information.
Yeah, and a lot of it's like the TikTok type of information where it's just quick 5 seconds and on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. So that's also getting our attention span kind of shorter. I do believe that too. Our attention span is getting shorter and shorter. Where you're paying attention to someone, all of a sudden you just adrift. Like, okay, I'm bored of this now. Let me go think about something else.
We're putting information in our heads, in our subconscious, but we never do the critical work of reflecting on what it is we've listened, watched, heard, forming conclusions, which is the most important part, which then allows us to decide if it's something we want more of in our life or not. And once we start to take that approach, we start to organize our subconscious. And we start to organize our subconscious, the subconscious then in turn can do what it does to help us make decisions. One source of confusion is overwhelming the subconscious mind. And you can do that by consuming too much information or having way too many experiences in your life. It is better for a parent to say to a child, for example, just say, if my daughter loved playing the piano or she loves playing the piano, then what I would say to her is take a gap year. But in this gap year, why don't you go to Eastern Europe for 3 months and learn Eastern European piano playing? I don't know anything about piano playing. I'm just making up an example. And then go to China and learn the Chinese way of playing the piano, for example. Then go here, maybe to Africa, and learn this style of playing the piano. And then maybe go to America and learn this style of playing the piano for 3 months. So in a year, you've gone to 4 different places, examined 4 different styles. Now, my daughter's passionate about playing the piano. And after she's done her gap year of exploring different styles of playing the piano, she can come back and say, Dad, I don't really like these 3. I mean, they're okay, but I really love the Eastern European way of playing the piano. And that's what I want to dive deeper into. And I said, that's great. So if you want to gain more experiences within a category that you're passionate about, rather than gain experiences across the board, across a million completely different things, pick the things that you're passionate about. Be curious within those things. Think narrow, long, deep silos, and that's what you want to go to. And each silo is something that you're passionate about.
I guess the way I would translate this about those books is the fact that it's like, okay, so you like folktale or something like that. Then you go read folktale about Asian folktale. There's a whole bunch of different Asian countries and different folktales, and they have probably unique ways of how they tell it, or unique folk creatures or whatever. Then you go to Africa and Americas and Europe and wherever else to to read folktale, and you're like, oh man, I really like these particular groups of folktale, and I want to write that kind of story because those folktales are so fascinating, and I want to learn more. Or maybe again the same exact example, but at least you go to these things, you start reading the full book, so you get the full experience of it. You're like, oh, no, this is not too bad. It's a pretty good folk tale. I like it, but the style was a little bit not really my flavor. Really good book, really good story. I can get some ideas from it, but the style wasn't my thing. And just go other things.
Then you can explore within the category. Then you are actually making progress in pursuing your passion and getting deeper into something that brings you a feeling of contentment, a feeling of joy, feeling of being uplifted and fulfillment from just doing it rather than trying 1,000 different random things, none of which you really want to do, but you've never given any thought about it before even doing it.
Okay, so I'm kind of curious. I will look it up also, but let me know what type. I don't believe I've asked this before, but I'm kind of curious what type of um follower is he? I guess is it like what is it called? I guess you have Buddhism, and then you have Hinduism. Well, I don't know if Hinduism is the right word because that's very broad. Maybe a particular set of Hinduism. I'm not sure. I wonder if anyone knows. I'm gonna look it up, but just in case I forget, and hopefully I get the email from you guys. I'll read up on that. Um, but anyways, interesting. So far, because I noticed that he talks about a lot of in a sense, the world, Maya. Yeah, the material world itself, and not necessarily like not spirituality, but the Brahman, basically. It doesn't say like you look inside for not a lot. Look inside for happiness, or look inside for solutions and ways of reducing suffering. This is the kind of balance that I want because there's going to be people out there who understand that well, I don't know how to explain it really, but that understand that the material world's not going to get you happiness. They know that, but they don't know where to get happiness, and this is where you can point them up in terms of Advaita Vedanta. Then you have people out there who, wants to find happiness in the real world, and the real world, the real world. Let's just call it that way. And you can point them in kind of both directions a little bit. You can, like people who are struggling to look inside, but still wants to ease their suffering in life, which is something that something that Gopal, Dandapani, I think, a little bit of Lakani as well. They talk about ways of reducing suffering in Maya, in the real world. But you get what I'm saying, and that's the thing that I want. So I have to kind of, whenever I hear people talk, I kind of get the judging about where's the right advice, the non-professional advice to give them, because I am definitely not a professional, but I like giving advice to people who are willing to listen and willing to give it a try. An honest try, of course. So nice for reaction to Can't Find Direction in Life. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, the stand down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.